Hello, Pearl Jam fan community. Welcome to the Wishlist Foundation's interview series, Candle of Thought, where we illuminate the people, causes, and music that are important to the Pearl Jam community. I'm your host, Chrissy Ferguson. As you all know, Pearl Jam will be playing at Madison Square Garden in New York City on Tuesday, September 3rd and Wednesday, September 4th. We will be raising funds for Pearl Jam's Vitalogy Foundation and Scope and Teach Rock. You will not want to miss this Wishlist Foundation pre-party because guess who is joining us at both pre-parties? The one and only Dave Krusen. Dave really needs no introduction. We all know the great work that he did with Pearl Jam's debut album, 10. He was also a member of the bands Hovercraft and Unified Theory, and from 1997 to 1999, and then again from 2015 to 2017, he was also the drummer for Candlebox. And on April 7th, 2017, I actually had the great pleasure of witnessing Dave's induction with Pearl Jam into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. And in 2022, I had the opportunity to speak with Dave about what it was like to play again with Pearl Jam on stage when unfortunately Matt Cameron was out sick with COVID. But since then, Dave has been playing with various bands, and currently he's going to tell us what he's been up to. And we're just so excited to be speaking with you, Dave, and we're so excited that you're going to be playing at the New York City pre-parties. So thanks so much for chatting with me today.
Yeah, thanks for having me. Good to see you again.
Good to see you too. So Dave, tell us a little bit about what projects you've been up to lately and who you've been playing with in the recent months.
A lot of my own stuff I've been working on, it's all instrumental, but I'm also working with a band with some friends called Big Game Hunter, which is kind of, I guess, based in Seattle. It started while I was still living in LA, and a friend of mine, Adam Curry, is a bass player. He's in LA, and he's also the bass player for Candlebox. So he's on tour, couldn't make the fundraiser event. And Gino DiCafano, my friend in Seattle, he writes the songs, and then we collaborate with him and finish them up. And we all have home studios, so that's been a lot of fun. I've been working with Gino and Adam in separate projects for years. So around when the pandemic happened, at some point, probably the summer, I guess, of 2020, it's like, why don't you send me something you've been working on? So we started doing that, and Adam joined in, and we've been doing it ever since. And we've probably got 20 plus songs now.
And where can we hear those songs?
Spotify, Apple Music. I think we have 2 out now, or maybe 3. It's all kind of a blur. We're trying to work on a full length LP and do some vinyl. So we are going to do that. It's just a matter of when, not if. So that'll be coming up pretty soon, hopefully the next couple months.
Okay, that's awesome. So you have a lot on the horizon too. So we can look forward to possibly an album.
Oh yeah, definitely a full length album. And some friends in Los Angeles have a band, Asian She, who I've played with before, and I just did a new track with them, which I'm really excited about. I just heard a rough mix, and it was amazing. So I love what they did with that. Super talented guys. So.
Well, we can't wait to hear that.
Right on.
So tell us a little bit. I've read about who inspired you growing up musically, but tell us a little bit about who inspired you when you were younger to get into music in the first place, and then how have you, throughout all of these years, kept that musical inspiration?
Well, when I was very young, I had an older brother who had a great, record collection, and I used to sit in his car and he'd let me pop an 8-track tape in. That's how long ago that was. But he had great stuff. Like Aerosmith was a band that I grew up on. Zeppelin, the Guess Who, just a ton. I know I'm forgetting a bunch, but then my mom would listen to. She had a great album collection, a lot of Elvis, very inspiring. But then, and I, as far back as I can remember, uh, was buying records, and so yeah, I mean, Fly Like an Eagle, Steve Miller, that was a big influence on me. Cheap Trick, Kiss, huge influence. Yeah, that really got me excited. Like a band like that opening, Kiss Alive, and like, wow,
Yeah.
stuff blowing up, blood flying. Like, yeah, that's what I want to
Great.
do. So,
And how do you
big
keep that
influence.
inspiration though? I mean, you've been playing for a long time, and how do you keep going?
Um, I think for myself, and I think all of us musicians, it's, well, I mean, I can just speak for myself, I guess. It started as such a passion before I even had drums. I was just banging on things. So like, and my brother, who was just here a while ago, the like the fan above our stove, the metal, it had
Oh my
dents
gosh.
all because I banged on. I just was banging on everything. So I was just kind of obsessed with music and rhythm and stuff, and so it started so long ago, and it's just I can't not. I'm tapping on things in the kitchen still today, and I basically built this studio to play my drums. Like I could just set up probably in a spare room, but I do some work in here for sure, but it's like as soundproof as possible. So no matter what time of day or night, I can come in. And I mean, it's been a while now, but what I'm really loving is putting on James Brown, any James Brown, and just playing to that you know, till I get to, hungry or thirsty, and I like to get my steps in.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? And that really
Yeah.
helps.
Well, that's a great outlet. I mean, for any time of day.
That's just Yeah, that's just it. It's like it's it also is so great for me personally, for my mental health. Like the fact that I'm able to play I'm so fortunate to even have space to play drums. Um, but it really helps with everything. It's mental and physical health. But yeah, I mean, it's just a great escape. Sometimes I'll just play to nothing, and sit down and play.
Yeah.
And I don't know what I just moving my limbs
Right.
really seriously, like, and that's helpful. So that is an inspiration. I find like I love the sound of drums. I love the sound of guitars and bass, and I've got other instruments here that I'll mess around with, and it's just all it just and it kind of I don't not to get too out there, but it's sort of life affirming, I guess is the term you could use. Like music has always been life affirming, no matter what's going on, ups or downs or whatever. There's always music.
Right.
It's pulled me out of many a dark spot, and use it. You're listening when you're celebrating life, and it's there for you when you need it. When things aren't going great.
Yeah,
So
absolutely. It's like therapy, the best kind of
yeah,
therapy. I love it.
totally.
So we were talking about your inspiration. I know that you've been an inspiration to your own kids, and your son Jagger has had an album out, or the last time we talked, he did. Is he still working on music?
Yep. He moved to New York about I think 2021 he moved out there. And he's got a record out that's doing really well. He's played all over the world. Super talented. He grew up having instruments around. He's been playing drums forever. So he's been a great drummer for a long time. He's 25 now. And, was touring at 13 with his band. And yeah, it's really great to see him, grow musically. And he used to play mostly drums. He'd dabble in other instruments. And he was doing some rehearsals, and I took him to rehearsal in LA, and he just didn't seem really super stoked on it. And he said he wanted to do his own stuff, and he did.
Good for him.
And yeah, now he's doing well, and that's how he pays his bills. And it's a passion for him as well, and he's very serious about it, which is it's something I wish I was more when I was younger. He's got his good head on his shoulders. He takes it very seriously, and yeah, he's doing great. Super talented.
That's great to
Very
hear.
proud of him.
And he's in his music we can also find on Spotify and Apple Music and as well.
Yeah, definitely.
Okay, great. So that leads me kind of into my next question. We're talking about, your younger self. If you could, you started, you had a band when you were a teenager, right? It was your high school, your first band with your friends.
Middle
school. Wow. Okay. We're going to go back to middle school then. So if you could tell your middle school self something about the journey that you are going to have ahead of you with your music and all that you have faced in life, like what advice would you give your talented middle school musician self?
Do not drink. Just don't do it. I'm so blessed that it's been a real struggle for me throughout my later childhood, early adulthood. It's like, that's definitely the conversation I would sit myself down and have. So there's that. And there's also, I think I would have stuck with sports, and I was really into sports. And then once I got into music, I was so into it that I kind of let that go. And the other thing that I would tell myself is, because I just think that the diversity of creativity, because I find sports creative too. So it's like the other thing is, it's not funny, but my grades, it's like I just was so obsessed. It's like I wish I could have gone back and focused more, or stayed, because I had decent grades when I was young. And so I wish I would have studied harder, worked towards going to college to get a degree, to have, something to fall back on when, you know what I mean? Things like that, for sure. Definitely not taking, I didn't take it for granted, but definitely taking life more seriously at a younger age, you know what I mean? And starting to try and implement some of that sooner than, later adulthood. So
was it always drums, Dave, or were you dabbling in other things as well?
Well, growing up, I had friends that were great players. Somebody would teach me a couple chords or teach me a song on a guitar. But yeah, drums. I have guitars and a bass and some keyboards I love to just make noise with, but I wouldn't say I know what I'm doing. I've got so many talented friends but the thing that's been fun about doing my own stuff is just, it's like I'm making my own painting. I'm just doing it all myself. And I love collaborating the most, for sure. It's my favorite. But yeah, just as far as an expression, getting creative, a guitar sound, or, some weird sound on a keyboard. And then when I put it in Pro Tools, like how I'm making it sound, like I'm doing everything, and then I'm mixing it, and then I'm putting it out. I'm picking the artwork. So that's been a blast to be able to do.
Yeah. That's great. We can't wait to hear what you've been working on, and these next pre-parties that you're coming to play at. We're calling it Dave Krusen and Friends. And you mentioned, I think one of your buddies who's coming. But tell us a little bit about their background and how you decided to invite them to come join you in New York.
Yeah. Well, Gino, one of my best friends, and we go way back to, it's probably 30 plus years now. He was jamming with Roger Fisher from Heart, and somehow, I can't remember how it came about, but I think it was 94, and they were looking for drummers to jam with. I went over to Roger's studio, and that's when I met Gino. We've been really good friends ever since. And from that time on, he had his own stuff. So I didn't end up playing with those guys, but I did with Gino. So we've been working together since then.
Very cool.
Yeah. And then Johnny Kaplan will be playing. And I met Johnny, he's a little over 10, 12, 13 years ago, something like that. And they had a cover band. I think my friend Christopher Thorne played in that band. He was in Unified Theory. And Blind Melon, guitar player. Super talented guy, great producer. And Rami Jaffe, who plays in the Foo Fighters. They had a cover band, and I don't know, I think I just sat in once or whatever, and then I joined that band. And we played a lot of fun, like, parties here and there, and some really great benefit shows. And then Johnny has his own project called the Lazy Stars. So I worked with him, toured, played around LA. We've done some recording recently. He wants to do a Birds cover record, so we've just started work on that. And yeah, all these guys are so talented. He's a great singer, fun to jam with, so.
That's awesome. So what are you guys going to play when you get to New York?
Well, we have a list of covers that we're going to do. Some Tom Petty, some Stones, I think. What else? But the list keeps, like it's changing, and then somebody will add something, and it's like, oh, wait a minute, it's 45 minutes.
Are you going to do any Pearl Jam?
I'd love to. We'll see. There's an opening band, so I don't know. And Richard, he might join us. We talked about maybe putting another drum kit up, which I'm hoping we do. That'd be a blast.
That would be amazing.
Yeah, so maybe during sound check. I know our sound check the first day is our rehearsal. So that'll be interesting. The cover songs should be pretty easy because everybody can just kind of run through those. So maybe we'll do one or two Pearl Jam songs if the guys are down.
Yeah.
I know a few, but they'd have to let them. So it's kind of up to them. So, and then Dustin Napoli's playing with us, and he's from Philly, and he's so talented. He's like my son. He plays everything. So
that's awesome.
He's a great drummer, bass. Maybe I could switch bass and drums with him on a tune. I don't know. We'll see. But yeah.
That would be amazing. Well, I really wish I could be there. Somehow maybe I'll just have to catch a flight. But
well, maybe we can stream it or record it, or get some of it.
That would be awesome. Mm-hmm. Well, Dave, we thank you so much for chatting with us, and we really cannot wait to hear you play. We know it's going to be a great time, and we just want to tell the Pearl Jam community to please mark your calendars for September 3rd and 4th. The festivities start at 2 p.m. at the Hard Rock in New York City, and we can't wait to see you all out there. So thanks again, Dave, and we'll be seeing you soon.
My pleasure. Thanks for having me.